Oh my gosh, did I make it? Can you hear me? Audio visual check, please. We have an unconventional setup this morning, so I just want to check that audio and visual is working. You can hear me okay. I appreciate you being here. You're at the pregame show. And what I do here every morning is get you ready for the trading day with a roadmap, going over crypto, commodities, indices, movers, and shakers of the day. So, again, an unconventional setup for me today. I am on the road. So it looks like I can see the screen just fine on YouTube. All good. You can hear me. Hi. Hi. Good morning, pregame crew. Welcome to the pregame show. It is Friday, June 24th, 8:23 a.m. Eastern, 6:24 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm Chark Lori. You are at the pregame show. I have a lot prepared for you this morning. I'm coming to you from the road, and I hope I can get you ready for the trading day. We have some decent setups today. I'm so glad Roblox worked for you. Who is that? Greg, I'm so glad it worked for you. I missed that one. I caught PLTR for a quick scalp. Good morning, Robert, Greg, Dennis, Skywave, my friend Night Truck, Mark, Fat N, Carlos, Greg, Matthew, Mary, Neb, Charles, Andre, Anthony, Keggers, Ricky, Ravage, Tesh. How are ya? Hey, Bobby. Hey, John. I'll see you in a little bit, John. Hey, Nursen, Anthony, Maria, bonjour. Girl, I'm going to give them to you, Michelle. Michelle, I don't remember seeing you in chat before. Maybe you've been here before and I'm just having a blonde moment, but I'm glad you're here. Hey, CJ, Jerome, Diego. There's Karkuki. How are ya? We have some fun setups today. NASDAQ is leading the way. ES has not broken that FOMC high of the reaction, so we have some divergence. We have SPY slightly weaker than QQQ. QQQ is leading the charge. Banks are weighing down SPY. If you watched Dan's market recap video yesterday, he went over that, and we need XLF to join the bull party, or we may have a pause in action. Hey, Bobo. Yeah, John. Hey, Plan. Bubba. Lewis, you've been here daily, Michelle? Well, that is my bad. That is totally my bad from Ireland. My favorite accent. Hey, Chris. All right. I will take a chart request. We have 5 minutes until I get started with indices, commodities, crypto, movers, and shakers of the day. If you're tuning in later in the day, you may want to fast forward about 5 minutes to get to the meat and potatoes of the indices, or you can just hang out with me and I will go over a couple chart requests. And as always, try to stick to technical analysis as much as possible and as little opinions as possible. You also travel with a MacBook Pro? Yeah, I'm pretty MacBook dependent, but my trading rig is regular PC. Hola. Okay, going once, going twice for a chart request. All right, I'm going to do my own chart request. This is not on my screen. I don't have it on my list. I'm just taking note of it. On is a semiconductor. It's a smaller name as far as price wise, and it had some vol climax back here. And I'm noticing these broadening formations. It's definitely not super clear because this top line breached. That's why I took it off my watch list. That top line here breached. But just an interesting setup. On has that volume climax, and I'm looking for semiconductors to join the party. I want them to join the party. Hey, Francisco, guess what? I have AMD on the list. Hi from Holland. I'm going to go over oil. I'm going to go over Apple. Okay, EMR. EMR, electrical products. Okay. They are at the weekly 200 MA. The daily is oversold. Lots of gaps overhead. I don't see a vol climax, meaning I don't see pure fear and capitulation in this name yet. So there may be more selling left. On the weekly, we're just right above oversold. We have a gap below to be aware of. Let's see where that is. That gap is at 71.23. That could act as a magnet. Look how they're just masterfully bringing this down while cooling off RSI. I would say this could be a falling wedge. And as step number one, you'd want bulls to get over the high of yesterday. This has some nice stair step patterns. Notice when charts have great stair step patterns, some charts gravitate toward that. When such and such is breached, then it goes down or goes up, and it's very algorithmic driven. Let me show you a name, what I mean. Look at AMD. Look at those stair step patterns. You're going to find AMD has a ton of stair step patterns. It's very consistent algorithmic buying or selling when it hits certain triggers, and it's volatile. It has nice high implied vol, high beta. So look for names like that. It looks like EMR is one of those names as well. If it can get over the high of yesterday, it may be step one of breaking that falling wedge bull. Okay, Meta. And then we'll get started in 1 minute. Meta has seen better days. You got some gaps overhead as well, but gaps don't mean anything if bulls have no interest in buying. Excuse me while is there a gap down here? 157. Well, that got filled if it was one. Yep, there was one. It got filled. Okay. So 150.83 is our next support below the low of yesterday. Facebook may, no, I'm going to choose my words carefully. Facebook could be a decent lotto play for an oversold bounce. The hourly has already gotten going. It's already got some legs under it. Yesterday afternoon, I missed the trading action, so I missed that. But it's just been a name that bears love to hate. So possibly a pullback buy. I would like a pullback buy swing for a potential bounce, but it's a Friday. I don't like establishing swing positions on Fridays, and plus I don't want to be around the computer all day today. So 160.79 is your clear resistance, and then you enter this area where the bears took it down. They tend to wipe out the order book, so we may have some good movement above 160.79, pre-market 161.30. You ready to get started? Let's get this show on the road. Hey, I'm Chark This is who I am. You can give me a follow on Twitter. That'd be great. At Chark no S, at Chark Chartguys.com. You can check us out and see what we do. We teach technical analysis, and what I do here every morning is I get ready with you, give you some just tips on the day. We look at international markets. We look at indices, crypto, commodities, movers, and shakers of the day. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF explanation. I use certain amounts of jargon, and there are people in the room that will help you decipher if you're like, what the heck acronym is she using? Queen of the Mountain just means it's set up with higher conviction. If I say ninjas only, it just means consistently profitable traders. It's a high volatility, high risk setup, and it's not for beginners. And I share these notes when I'm done with the TCG room. And if you could hit that like button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's get started. ES. Let's get our bearings. Okay, part of my chart setup are yellow candles or inside bars, which means the price range rests within the prior time frames range. So we are still inside last week's range. We are not over FOMC high, and we are not over last week's high on ES. However, I'm going to go over NVDA. Don't you worry, Richard. Okay, so we have an inside bar on ES. Let's go over the differences among our Fab 4. So again, always trying to get that roadmap for the day. NQ is leading the way. You see this candle's green. We took out the high of last week. We took it out decisively by about $64. We do have a gap overhead to be aware of. And that gap is at 11849. Oh, that's why I got that number wrong earlier. My magnet did the body and not the wick. 11849. Okay, that gap's filled. Never mind. I did that much earlier this morning. So that gap is filled. So our 12-hour inverse head and shoulders that we've been eyeing all week, or the majority of the week, has confirmed. So now we have a bull break over FOMC high and high of last week. So let's go back to the weekly. NQ bull break. Bull break over last week's high. ES. Inside bar. RTY, inside bar. YM inside bar. So of our Fab 4, NASDAQ is the only one that's broken bull. So if you're a market bull, that's the one you want to see break bull. It has more weight overall in ES. However, we need the banks and semiconductors to join the party in order for ES to take out FOMC high and to take out last week's high, which are two different resistances. Let's look at those levels. So on ES, that level of FOMC high is 3843. 3843. And the weekly high is 3878. We talk about here often when we have key resistances and they're really close together, it's imperative that you take them both out at once. So I would say that 3843 and 3878, I'm on travel. So that's what is that? $45. That's pretty tight. That's pretty close together. We need to take them both out at once for the bulls to feel more comfortable that they're getting some real good momentum going. And Dan has been taking his clues from crypto. Crypto has been bouncing and bringing that over to our indices saying, okay, is this the time for them to bounce as well? And it's worked well. NASDAQ is our bull. So NASDAQ has the bull break, so why wouldn't I play it bullish out the gate? Well, it's already had its bull break. I've missed that move as far as I'm concerned. I need meat on the bone for a trade. So now I wait for NASDAQ to pull back for hourly higher lows. Let's look at that game plan. And by the way, Hang Seng was up 2% overnight. DAX is up a little less than 1%. So we got some green in the international markets. Banks did well on their stress test yesterday, or at least withstood the applied stress, i.e. metrics. As Dan noted yesterday in the market recap video, there is a small shift in the risk on environment. And I have something to show you on RTY. If you're a Swing Report member, you know I pounded the table on this during COVID. And I am recognizing we did the same thing this year, and I just haven't pointed it out to the pregame show. Let's look at what I'm talking about. Okay, hopefully I won't make y'all too sick. Looking at RTY. Okay. So this was the all-time high in January 20 of 1715, all right? That was our all-time high at the time. Then we made a lower high at 1703. Do y'all see that? We had a higher high and a lower high. Now let's go revisit that same time period for ES. ES made, this is where RTY made a higher high, and then RTY made a lower high. Look, ES made a higher high. Do you see that divergence? RTY was signaling ahead of time, hey, risk off, risk off. RTY gave the clue. It gave the go sign to the downside, I guess. RTY for this year's move, if we look back in November, we got the all-time high. Do y'all see that? November, all-time high. Then we got the lower high in January of this year. Look at what ES did. We got our higher high in January. So while ES is putting in a higher high, RTY is putting in a lower high. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So this has happened twice now where RTY signaled the top of the market. And then if you go back to April 4th, 5th, or 6th, you'll have to go back. I was doing this morning. RTY started leading us out of the bottom of COVID. And we see that we have some more risk on behavior going on in growth, but RTY is not leading the way yet. Yes, the hourly chart looks beautiful. Yes, the 4-hour chart looks beautiful. Daily chart, no trend change, and we haven't taken out last week's, we haven't taken out the FOMC high or the high of last week. We haven't taken it out. So even though growth is leading, growth spans a lot of ETFs. And I should also point out that this week is RTY rebalancing, where they do a reconstitution and they shuffle things. And they say, okay, we have DKNG and we have PEN. We want less of those names and we want more of these names. And they start buying some of the names they're interested in. Maybe they're value priced. And that's why we've seen a lot of rotation and growth. ARK has been outperforming the market. Look at ARK. Let's look at ARK over SPY. Yesterday it was up 6% over SPY. Look at that, 6%. It's been outperforming. Why? If you were going to buy stuff, Wouldn't you buy stuff on sale? Traders are the only people I know that don't want to buy things on sale. Yeah, I want to pay full rack price. No, buy it on sale. Well, it looks like the managers are doing just that. They want some of that Roku stuff. Give it to me. They want some of that Zoom. So the money has been rotating into the value beaten down names like Tilray and MSOS. Dan covered that yesterday. And that's what leads us into this risk on environment. Let me get back to my notes before I get too sidetracked. So basically, the layout of the day, aggressive bears are looking to top fish any remaining FOMC resistance. So if your name took out FOMC resistance and last week's high like Apple, that's not a top fish for me at all. Conservative bulls are waiting for those pullbacks to scout hourly higher lows. And then I must point out, we are approaching 2-hour and 4-hour overbought conditions in a weekly downtrend. This has me playing a cautious bull. We call this the reverse back burner. And I'm having a really hard time managing chat. Oh gosh. All right. Fun times. So sorry about that, y'all. Good morning, Neil. How are you? So obviously I am having a hard time managing chat. These people are going cray cray. So Apple, 4-hour, we're approaching overbought. We're at 63. Let's look at the 2-hour. You see the 2-hour, we approached overbought. We are in a weekly downtrend. We are way far away from making a weekly trend change. These overbought conditions have bears on high alert or bulls on high alert saying, whoa, 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 saying, wait, okay, be careful here. So I guess I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm saying don't go short any name that took out the FOMC high. That is an outperformer. Apple is one of them. However, if we see 15-minute trend changes to the downside, that could be our first signal at the bears attempting to put in a weekly lower high. So why did I just time him out for 30 seconds? I need to time him out forever. Yep, there are some sick folks out there. Let's just keep it moving. Okay, let's go back to the notes. So just remember these overbought conditions in a weekly downtrend. And basically, I'm saying don't go short Apple unless Apple gives you a reason with bear volume and price trend changes. But I wouldn't be chasing up here. Definitely would not be chasing with these overbought conditions and reverse back burners. Okay, so ES bulls are knocking on that daily resistance. We could, if they break that FOMC high, they could still be stuck on inside last week's range. So we can get that crap off the screen. Okay, YM has taken out the FOMC reaction, has yet to take it out, sorry, or last week's high. VIX. Here's my glimmer of hope for bears. Actually, I have two glimmers of hope. Let's do glimmers of hope with asterisks. How about that? There's a glimmer of hope for a bear, and here's a glimmer of hope. That reverse back burner, glimmer of hope. And VIX. VIX has falling wedge. Now, I say it to y'all at least 2 or 3 times a week. The VIX is one of the names that consistently fails to break falling wedges to the upside because it stays in these perpetual downtrends. This year, of course, is different. Fear came into the market and it stayed in the market. But this is a falling wedge. 2776 is a key support. I'm going to go set an alert there. I want to know if we get to that support level. That could be an area for bears to step in. You're welcome, Rob. You're welcome. So VIX falling wedge, we must keep that in the back of our minds. If you're a market bull, keep VIX on the radar. If VIX continues to melt as fear just totally starts to dissipate and leave the market, then stay with your dip buying mentality, looking to buy pullbacks, establishing those hourly higher lows. All right. We went over that. Bitcoin, Ethereum, 12-hour inverse head and shoulders continues to develop. They have not taken out their high yet. No red flags. ETH is leading the way a bit here. So let's go look at Bitcoin. Good morning, VNTC from Germany. How are you? Okay, so there's the 12-hour inverse head and shoulders on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Ethereum is making more headway. We're over that 1193 resistance on the 12-hour, and Bitcoin is not. So let me put this in a little bit closer. Let me give you a price label so you can see what I'm talking about. So do you see this here and here? There. So we are still $261 away from that 12-hour high. Ethereum took it out. Ethereum is definitely leading the way here. So let me stick with that Apple mentality, all right? So even if Ethereum bounces, it could bounce up to 1723 area, this 8 EMA, and most likely still be a bear flag. So I'm not saying the bounce is done at all, but we're in a weekly downtrend. So let's go assess our RSI conditions. Hourly overbought, 4-hour overbought. So as a temporary ETH bull, I bought the dip. I want to know when this RSI gets over 70 on the 4-hour, because that's a new development. And this may be where our reverse back burner kicks in and we start looking for a weekly lower high. Price has to pause. We can't just randomly short. But someone asked me about Ethereum short. So, oh, good, VNTC. I'm glad. So, V loves pizza. That's my answer for Ethereum short. Is I think bulls need to remain protective. When I say remain protective, this is what I mean. You see this separation between price and that 8 EMA, you're going to want to start walking up the stair step. So my stop now, I would walk that up to 1206.81. If you're a really conservative bull and you want to lock in profits, then you stay with this bull trend on this 15-minute as long as it's going up. When the stair step breaks to the downside, that would be your key or your cue to at least, let's say, take half profits. As long as we're above the 15-minute 8 and 21 EMAs, you stay in long on the other half, which of course you should have had that trading plan together before you even started. So that's the view on Ethereum and Bitcoin right now since I was on that RSI train. So Bitcoin is only 4-hour 58. So Ethereum is definitely more extended at 66. So let's watch that. And I will post in the room if I get that alert today for the 70 RSI. Gold, there is no love for gold. Where are my girls at? Don't we love gold? Who's not buying gold? Okay, so we're near the low of last week. We are still inside last week's range. All right. That within itself, I think, is a small, tiny win for the gold bulls. But we're down here. We're at like 15% above the low. So we're so close to last week's low. And last week had a very large range with the FOMC reaction, which we can anticipate that in the future. FOMC typically creates this large range, but we're closer to the low than to the high. Bulls have not done much with any of the metals. Let me show you. Nope, not that chart. This chart. Y'all ready? Monthly downtrend. Weekly downtrend. This is silver. Daily downtrend. 4-hour downtrend. Hourly downtrend. 15-minute downtrend. Do you see how powerful these metal bears are? So if we could get a bounce going, silver's the weakest, but it tends to outperform gold when it starts to bounce. So I would start looking at silver for a metal long play. It's pretty beat down into the ground. Copper as well. Copper, no love. Look at this, 4 hours not oversold on silver. Yeah, I say they're beat down, but they're just keeping these RSI so cooled off methodically and systematically that's just not giving oversold bounce opportunity. They're just walking the dog, walking the dog. Mustang, good for her. Good for her. Your wife is trying to raise the price of gold. Matthew, let's look at platinum. I haven't looked at platinum in a while. And I believe Denzi will be live in 13 minutes. I'm not sure. It could be Lamont, but I typically wrap up right before 9 a.m. Eastern. So platinum, so we can go listen to the TCG members only live. Okay, 895. I could go with that, Matthew. I could get behind that. Looking for a monthly higher low compared to 886. Let's set alert for 895. That may be a dip buy opportunity. Thanks for asking about that one. Okay, oil. Okay, oil. Oil has inventory today. Okay, I want y'all to take a picture, all right? Snapshot this. Let me show you what we're snapshotting, all right? Look at this beautiful EQ. As a day trader, this could be your bread and butter, looking for these tightening patterns. Benzo, I wouldn't say silver's going to outperform gold in the coming years. I am not that well versed of a metals expert, but I would say when we're getting to oversold bounces, the smaller metals like copper and silver bounce harder. So, but when we come down, they pull down harder. So they have more extreme, exaggerated moves than gold that I will commit to. Okay, so we like these tightening patterns. I'm having such a fun time today. I'm so glad you are here. Hit that like button, please. Okay, so we have this EQ. Okay, so you got the snapshot. Everybody has this imprinted on your brain, right? Okay, now let's go look at nat gas. Let's pretend like we don't know what happened yesterday. We don't know what happened. Look at this EQ. We talked about this yesterday morning. Look at this. Look at this tight EQ. Not that. Do you see that EQ? We can do a lot with this as day traders. The tighter it gets, the more compression. We talked about these TTM squeezes, and I even said yesterday you don't even need this on your chart to see this compression. You can see the orange dots meaning very, very high compression, and then it broke to the downside. And look at that follow through. So the bear break netted 8.5% to the downside. Now let's go back and look at oil. You see that? Now, oil has inventory today. I am not making a prediction upside or downside. I'm just saying if it could stop here and pull down and even open Sunday night in this EQ, you better bet your bottom dollar I'll be trading this from a plane, but I'll be trading it. But it's very tight pattern, nice EQ. So look for those inventory report numbers to potentially break this out of the tightening pattern. We went over NG is having a little dead cat bounce at the moment. We got an hourly higher high, and we actually have made enough room for a higher low. But the bulls have so much work to do and to get through all of the resistance overhead. Apple, we talked about it. Apple is extended. So if you're a bull, you can use yesterday's high of day or as a potential bottom fishing area. And what you can do is you could say, I'm going to wait for a 5 or 15 minute RSI oversold, set your alert. So your first 5-minute oversold on Apple would be around 138.95. So let's say 139. So 139, that somewhat matches up. That's not what I want to do. That somewhat matches up with the high of yesterday, 138.59. Let's look at 15-minute. 15-minute oversold is down at 137.89. That would be getting a little too deep for me. So basically what I'm saying is I cannot buy up here. Rules say no, 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 no. But if you want to do a dip buy, I would wait for back burner, then wait for volume confirmation and trend changes on lower time frames like the 2-minute to go long. Amazon and Tesla don't look like everything else. And remember, Amazon and Tesla are part of the consumer discretionary division. I had this pulled up. I don't know why. So look here, Tesla was red. So consumer discretionary was all over the board. Look at technology. It was green, green, green. Semiconductors, they didn't get the memo. They were supposed to go green yesterday, nor did financials or energy. So XLF and semiconductors have to join the party. They have to join the party. But getting back to consumer discretionary, Amazon is green this morning. So I'm not knocking the bulls. I'm just saying they are not as extended as Apple. They're not as strong as Apple. Let's look at the weekly. We did take out the high of last week, so I guess I need to watch my words. I cautioned against rising wedges yesterday, these higher highs without a lot of follow through. I would say that's off the table now that we have a bull break, but I would prefer a pullback buy around a 111.83 versus Apple. I like a little higher at high of day, 138.59. Seems just a little bit stronger. Nvidia. Now there's two ways to play Nvidia. You top fish the high of yesterday as a laggard, or you look to bottom fish the low of yesterday as a laggard bull. So I'm traveling yesterday. Hey MG, how are ya? Hope you're well. Can you bring me a biscuit? I'm hungry, MG. I'm kidding. So, NVIDIA, I was traveling yesterday, so I missed the big move on Apple. I missed the big move on Amazon. Well, NVIDIA didn't do anything yesterday. It closed red. So, bears are looking to top fish high of yesterday, or someone like me who wants a bull position in semiconductors waiting for this laggard rotation, I would wait for a pullback buy closer to my support. So if I'm wrong, I can stop out. So I hope that makes sense. It's a laggard bull, so I'm not going to. So I can only top fish as an aggressive bear this morning, or my rules, or I can be a conservative bull and buy a pullback. Tesla. Tesla is not like the other ones. Why? Look at that consumer discretionary. They were a laggard yesterday. Amazon pulled up some of the sector and Home Depot, but Tesla's like, eh. So Tesla is, and by the way, that was my one of my best trades. And here I was showing people in the room, some people took it, this declining bull volume, looking for this 15-minute lower high. I got stopped out for slightly green, went to the airport, pulled it up, and then it's just a beautiful break. Beautiful. So Tesla is for aggressive bears, you're looking to top fish this morning. Conservative bulls are looking to possibly buy a pullback. AMD, same thing. AMD, and don't forget the stair step patterns. I should say stair step and put it on my template for pregame notes every single morning. Stair step is your friend. I did Bitcoin. You can scroll back, and I went over Bitcoin. It's laggard to Ethereum, 12-hour inverse head and shoulders, not confirmed yet. All right, AMD. AMD, same thing. Aggressive bears are looking to top fish. Conservative bulls are looking to buy a pullback. That's an errant line. Let me get rid of that. All right, so you have support at 82.12. I like AMD for a long, but I like AMD for a long down here. I don't like it for a long up here. So remember our Frogger game? We like to short at resistance, buy at support. Everything in the middle is a fool's game. And I say that tongue in cheek. It's not absolutely true. You could get an equilibrium right there in the middle and still top fish that or bottom fish that. So it's not empirically true that you only short resistance or only go long at support. There are some exceptions in there, but typically you want your stop nearby no matter what. GS. Okay. So banks passed their stress test. We're waiting for bank bulls to get the memo, you can join the party now. So we have a falling wedge potential on GS breaking bull over the 4 hour. So let's look at the daily. I didn't mark that up. Your next daily resistance is 28807. You're over that. So it's really not up until 294. So we go to the 1 hour. So yeah, you have no resistance in this area. I like a pullback buy to yesterday's high, 28659. 28659 is a potential long looking for laggard bull action on the banks. MS has been on my radar. They had some pretty interesting dark pool action. I believe it was Wednesday pre-market. I'll have to go back and check, but I believe it was Wednesday pre-market. Some extremely unusual. I'll tell you which day it was. Let's see. Extremely unusual dark pool action. What was the close here? 74. That was Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning pre-market MS had some very interesting dark pool action. Again, they survived the stress test. We don't have a falling wedge here as much as we have a channel above 75.25 breaks out this channel. Excuse my really pathetic drawings, but that's just the way it goes this morning. I like a pullback buy of MS. I would say I like GS technical setup a little bit better, but MS I'm just keeping on my radar for that and we're right above that dark pool price. I believe it was 74.49. Again, I need to go back and check, so don't quote me on that. But I like a pullback buy of MS. I like GS just slightly better, thanks to I don't remember who it was. Who was it in Reddit stocks? Flynn, short squeezes are back in season. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Look at this. 70% bounce, no big deal. So do you see these little orange arrows over here, or excuse me, triangles? That's my alert. So I have an alert set for a 5-minute oversold bounce. Well, we got the 5-minute oversold bounce in pre-market. I don't like that. I want it regular trading hours. So then I adjust my criteria. Tell me when RSI gets to 30 on the 15-minute for VRM for a back burner trade. I think we could, let's see what 15-minute oversold would be. $1.49. I could get behind that. Yeah, $1.45 support. Okay, so then I'm going to set an alert for $1.50. So I'm going to be getting a lot of alerts on BRM. I may or may not trade it. My goal is to enjoy my scenery today. We'll see how good I relax and versus staring at the computer. All right. So that was all of my notes. BRM. Oh, XLE top fish setups. XOM is a possible one, but I just a little hesitant to short XLE because oil inventories tomorrow. And then look at names like XLE. Look at this beautiful double bottom on the weekly, 83.40, 83.52. Those are areas where I like to go long. Now odds favor a weekly lower high on a bounce, but I want to short up here, not down here. So XLE top fishes for me are off the table at this point with oil inventory unknown today and that EQ and with key names like Exxon having this key weekly double bottom. Okay. I am not a leap call buyer. I have lost more money on leaps than I've made. So for me, I'd rather hold commons and not have to fight premium decay and the theta monster. Here's what theta decay is. And so here's your analogy for the day. Theta decay for options is like cholesterol. Cholesterol is eating away at your arteries and you don't know it. You usually have no idea, no symptoms. You go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you have cholesterol. The theta decay monster is always at work behind the scenes and you're like, oh, AMD price is going up. Great. Then you go look at your options and you're underwater. So I've got enough monsters to fight in my life. I don't want to fight the whole Greek army. So for the most part, I stay away from leaps unless I'm selling covered calls, and that's not even considered a leap. But that's the only time I go out and I look for high IV to sell against a name that may be an EQ, and that hasn't been the case all year. I don't think I've sold a covered call this entire year because the market's been going down. So, okie dokie. Okay, so sorry, y'all. These people are crazy. Yes, I have. Well, RSI, I just keep it right here, this RSI 30 to 70, and I just toggle it on and off whenever I want to know an estimate. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap it up here. It's 7:01. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button on the way out. I apologize for all the spammers today. We have a limited number of mods because lots of us are in the East Coast in the mountains enjoying our time together. So, again, apologize for that. But if you could still hit that like button before you hit that exit door, hit that subscribe button, hit that notify button, and use stop losses.